Hello and thank you for joining me today for this video. I'm starting a new series which I'm really excited about. It's gonna be all about recreating vintage, pretty iconic hairstyles. I really hope you like this kind of content. I just find it super exciting for me and challenging and fun. So I'm really excited to keep doing these kinds of videos. The first one I chose was mainly based on just finding someone with extremely long hair because my hair right now is super long. You can't really see it because it's so curled up, but it's like super long. So I found a photo of Gene Tierney. She's an actress who was mainly active in the 1940s. I recently just heard a podcast about her. In a podcast you really need to listen to. It's called You Must Remember This. It's all about old Hollywood tales of like crazy things happening in old Hollywood, starting from like the 20s all the way through like even Madonna in the 80s. So I really recommend this podcast. I'm also gonna add a link below if you want to listen to it. If you love old Hollywood, you want to listen to it. Anyway, I found this photo on Pinterest and then I realized it's the same actress I already heard a podcast about, and her life is kind of crazy. And I really like this hair because it's for long hair and it's also kind of exotic and interesting. I'm gonna be trying to recreate really complicated stuff in the future. This is just the first one. Before filming this video, I set my hair with like tiny rollers that you're gonna see in a minute. They really look ridiculous. I set my hair with some Suavecita product, but actually it's a bottle that was almost empty from the product, and then I added a lot of water. So it's more like a wet set. This is the bottle. This headpiece I just really randomly found next to my house. I guess this is like probably one of the only perks of living in the Middle East as a vintage lover, that I do find like really random arabesque style jewelry, which was really popular in those years. So that's nice, but don't be jealous because this was like, it hurt so much. I had to reposition it at least twice, and every time I had to struggle to take it out of my hair. So it's not really ideal. This is basically just a brush out of a wet set of rollers with a middle part and a tiny bit of backcombing. So let's go ahead and start. So as you can see, I started out with these small rolls. They're called perm rod rollers, and I have an Instagram TV video where you can see how I set them and how I work with them. I'll add the link below. So at this point I'm just taking all of them out. You can see they make crazy, tiny, very tight curls. I of course set my hair in advance to have a middle part. Now I'm just loosening out the curls a bit so they're easier to brush out. Next I grabbed a paddle brush and started brushing out sections starting from the bottom of my hair. After loosening up the curls a bit, I'm putting some of the hair up so it will be easier to work on a specific section, as there is a lot of brushing out to do when starting from such tight curls. There's a lot of brushing out in this video. I tried not to cut any of it or use a fast time lapse so you can really see the full process of the brush out. Please let me know in the comments below if you like it like this, or would you prefer shorter versions in the future. Okay, so one side is done. I totally stopped filming here for a second to take a ridiculous selfie. So again, like on the other side, I put some of the hair up and started brushing from the bottom. I was listening to actual music and not this royalty-free YouTube music, so excuse my occasional sitting down dancing. Now that the two sides are pretty much brushed out, it's time to brush the back of the head and make sure the two parts connect smoothly. So everything is basically brushed out at this point, although there's a lot more brushing to come yet. And now I look like a poodle. Here I'm just checking to see another option because I don't wear a middle part too often. That said, for some reason my next few planned hairstyles for this series are based on a middle part, but have a lot of height and volume, so it won't be as weird for me at least. After making sure the middle part is as straight as possible, which it will never be 100%, I'm now taking small sections and backcombing them in order to create the bumps that we see in the inspiration photo. For the backcombing, I'm using a metal tail comb. You can see here one side is a bit more flat. It's both because of my hair growth, because I always have my hair parted on the other side, and also might be because of the roll drying differently on this side. So I just backcomb it some more, but the asymmetry is a recurring problem in this hairstyle. After checking the reference again, I'm grabbing a teasing brush and using it to smooth the backcombing a bit and start styling this front section. I'm brushing the length of the hair a bit because it's messy from the backcombing, and after the top is styled, it will be harder to do without pulling it down. I'm now trying to recreate those bumps by kind of folding the hair backwards. So again, this side was a bit more problematic and had some parts that kept sinking in. There is always a harder side when doing symmetrical hairstyles, and I actually suggest starting with that side so it's easier to match the good side to that side. I'm now starting to add some hairspray and styling it as it dries. I'm setting this in place with a duckbill clip for now, because I prefer to see that the other side looks more or less the same before I use bobby pins. To fix the flat roots issue, I spray some hairspray, and with the steel tail of the comb, I lift the hair as the hairspray dries. After setting all of this a bit in hairspray, I remove the clip and replace it with 2 bobby pins in different directions. Make sure they're inserted tightly and are locked in place, as more brushing is coming next. You can insert the clips again if you want to make sure you don't pull down the hair. Make sure you're brushing the ends of the hair inwards. Here you can see the differences. It kinda looks like I'm brushing and brushing and nothing is happening, but it does become more consistently wavy as you keep brushing it. So at this point I'm not sure if the front wave below the bump looks similar, so I'm checking the reference again. It's kinda hard to tell with dark hair as you mostly see the outline. With my pink hair you can kinda see more texture and all the curls look more individual than one big wave as I'd like them to look. So I'm just brushing until it looks more or less unified, or until I'm just tired of it. But having straight hair naturally, I definitely prefer it this way, as before I learned how to properly set my hair, I wouldn't have been able to brush so much without making it just fall flat. So next I'm gonna add the hair jewelry. The one I chose to use pretty much covers what you saw me struggling to perfect, but it's always better to try to make each step of a hairstyle as best as possible, so the whole thing comes out better at the end. In retrospect, this version actually looked really good, but I felt like it's a bit too much for me, so I went through the struggle of taking it off and then repositioning it a bit more towards the back. So yeah, I'm never done brushing out, but it's actually because I didn't use hairspray to set the whole hairstyle. I wanted to reuse the set for another day by rolling it back in the evening. Not using hairspray meant I can just keep brushing it forever, so I just stopped at some point. Thank you so much for watching this video. Below I added the link with the Pinterest boards of all the photos of hairs I'm aspiring to recreate at some point, so check that out. Also, I have a pin curling online course available, of course, so check out that as well. And like, comment, subscribe, anything you can do to support my channel, I really appreciate it. So thank you so much and see you on my next video. Kisses!